name is Christy Jones and I'm the Mayerling Skin Renewal Skin Ambassador and Head Trainer. Today I'm going to show you the S20 or the Salicylic Peel application. We start off with our foaming cleanser. You'll notice that I'm wearing gloves, and it is recommended and advised that when you do a salicylic treatment that you do wear gloves. I add a little bit of water to my foaming cleanser just to emulsify it, and I make sure that when we're doing the cleanse, we go all the way down to the clavicle bone. In a standard salicylic peel treatment or glycolic peel treatment, we go down and we include the neck. So, same as with the glycolic peel, prep is very, very important, and it is imperative that you make sure that the preparation of the skin is very thorough with both salicylic and glycolic peels. The other thing that we also make sure that we are very thorough with is our consultation and our pre-consent form. We need to make sure that we really have a look at the skin, we know what we're dealing with, we know what medications our clients on, if they're contraindicated at all, and we've gone through all of this off camera with Jenny, and we're all good to go. We know that she's not contraindicated, we know that she's suitable for the treatment, and as I said in the glycolic video, you won't have any problems with either treatments as long as your consultation and you've dotted all your I's and crossed all your T's and you know what you're working with. Once we've done one cleanse, we then repeat and we do another cleanse. The same as with our glycolic peel as well, we don't necessarily have to take eye makeup off. We can work around the eye makeup. So if the client does want to have something like this done in their lunch break, then they can do that without removing all of their makeup. We can send them back to work, no problems. So after we've done our double cleanse, we then prep with the isopropyl skin prep, folding our piece of gauze and putting a generous amount on your gauze. Now this is quite strong, so always make sure you advise the client that this is going to be quite strong, and hold one nostril down as you're working around and wafting those fumes away, because it can take their breath away. This is another super important step, because even though we've just double cleansed, sometimes you'll notice, especially if the client tans or they wear a lot of makeup, that, and you can see even here, my client's skin looks squeaky clean, but there's still a little bit of dirt and residue on there. So we're going to do that step again, turning the gauze over. The skin isn't prepped properly if you can see anything on that gauze, so that's a really good indication for you. So you need to keep doing this step until that gauze is squeaky clean. So you can see now that that looks super clean. Just waft to get those fumes away, and that's pretty clean. So now we're ready to apply the salicylic peel. Before we do, we're going to place our eye pads on. Once again, this is a really important step, because you'll notice that the solution is quite fine, so it can splash into the client's eyes, and we really want to protect their eyes. Grabbing the S20, give it a shake, and we're going to use one capful into our little ramekin, and a brush, either a mask brush, foundation brush, whatever you find is more comfortable. I like to pick something that the bristles are nice and close together, because that again helps the product go on the skin quite well without it spraying. We're going to apply this really quickly, and we want to apply a generous amount onto the skin. And then we want to get the whole face covered before we start fanning or offering a mechanical fan for the customer to put on to cool themselves down. The reason we want to do this is because once we start fanning, it slows the activation process down of the treatment. So we'll get maximum benefit with the salicylic peel if we get it on and let it process before we start to fan. So here we go. Starting from the forehead, working quickly, generous amounts, all the way down. You want to make sure you can see the product on the skin. Then you know you have enough of the actual peel on. Can you start to feel that yet, Jenny?
Yes.
Okay, so Jenny can start to feel that now. So we want to make sure we get all the way up to the forehead, do the nose, the wings of the nose, and then we are going to grab our fan, either a handheld fan or an electronic fan, and we are going to start to fan the skin. Instantly, that should give her a little bit of relief. Did it?
Yes.
Now, once we see some frosting, I then know that the actual treatment has activated and it's ready to be removed. This can take up to 3 minutes on some people. It can happen instantly on others. Now this is frosting on Jenny's forehead here, so I'm going to remove that. We remove with cold water. And don't be alarmed if when you remove you can see more frosting. This is all really good results. I can see that she's going to get a really good shed and peel from this treatment. Okay, so once we have removed that with our cold water twice, we're then going to repeat the same step. Now that one cap full should do 2 applications, no problems. And just going to quickly apply. You can see where the frosting has come up, and you'll often see this. You'll see some spots, and that is sun damage that it is really going to target and get rid of. So that's what we can see. And the real miracle and magic happens with what we can't see, because being a salicylic, it's a BHA, and as you know, that goes all the way down to the subcutaneous layer. That's frosted beautifully. So even quicker this time around, we're going to take that off. The next step is putting on a mask. You can see that the erythema response is quite intense. We're nice and red. And this is what I absolutely love about this treatment. You feel when you've had it done that your skin is quite warm and almost on fire, but you walk out looking so calm and fresh. And after the mask, you'll see what I'm talking about, because it just really calms the skin down, cools it down, and definitely makes it look much more vibrant and fresh. So, taking that off, we've got the 2 masks, the anti-stress and the detoxification. I'm going to show you the detox mask. They're both kaolin based, both very calming and very cooling. And depending on how much discomfort your client is in, we can put a cold compress over the top, or if you find that your client is still a bit uncomfortable, you can actually put some compresses, you can pre-do these, into the fridge or in the freezer, and you can pull them out for this step. So that will really, really calm and cool the skin down. Sometimes that's advised in summertime, if it's quite warm. Usually through winter you don't have to worry. Now that should be starting to cool your skin down.
It is.
There you go.
Yeah.
So instantly once you get that mask on, it's more comfortable for your client. So it's very important that you work as quick as you can. Then what we're going to do is we're going to grab a compress, and we're going to put a cool compress over the top of the skin and leave that mask on now for 10 minutes. Again, if this step isn't cool enough for the client, then you can repeat and put another cold compress over the top. How's that feeling?
That's great now.
So when you're doing a salicylic treatment, it is really important to continue to communicate with your customer, ask them how they're feeling, because it is sometimes, especially for someone who hasn't had a treatment like this before, it can be quite confronting, and everyone responds differently. So some people might say, oh no, I'm okay with that, because everyone's pain tolerance is different. So just always keep asking, even when you've left the mask on, come back in, check, make sure that they're okay, that their skin isn't warming or heating up anymore, and they're starting to cool and calm down. Also with aftercare, it's exactly the same as our other glycolic treatment. We need to make sure that the customer goes home with a tube of the Aidec cream, which has vitamin A, D, E, C in it. This has a concentrated amount of those active ingredients, enough to help repair the skin and make sure the skin renewal process is as seamlessly done as possible. So they need to use this and a cleanser and an SPF and nothing else for the next 3 days. With the salicylic, they may go through more than what they do with a glycolic, and that's totally fine as well. We basically want them to put this on anytime their skin feels tight or dry. It's advised that if they don't have to wear makeup for the next 3 days, then it'd be great, but you can put the Aidec on over the top of makeup if you need to. So we're going to remove this now, and we are just going to take our compress off. You will find after a salicylic treatment that your client's skin will look pink, but it should be much less red than what it was when you put the mask on. So they can put makeup on straight away if they want to, but again, it's advised that we just put the Aidec on and an SPF, and that's what's really good out. The Mayerling tinted SPF is perfect to put on after a peel because it's not too heavy a makeup, and it will just balance out that redness and that skin tone if there is any pinkiness left in the skin. That mask is all removed, and you can see that I've also taken my gloves off for this step. I like to finish with no gloves, and the mask and the Aidec isn't going to hurt my hands at all. So now we're finishing with the Aidec, a generous amount. And again all over the neck and the face. Finished. That is your salicylic Mayerling Skin Renewal treatment. As I said earlier, in the glycolic demonstration, providing you have done your prep correctly and you have done your consultation correctly, there is nothing you need to worry about other than just creating beautiful skin.